This is Radio Cairo, and today is the world of info. My name is Dr. Amr MABROuk. Dua Muhammad is at the control, and we're coming from Studio 3. And yes, today in the world of info, we are having the world of books. And as you know, the rule of the game, we have 3 books to present. The first book is the beautiful book about Ali Pasha Ibrahim, the founder of the Egyptian medicine, new medicine in the 20th century. The second book is The Art of Laziness by the library Mindset. And the third book is Paris, the Diary of the Left Bank, 2019 to 2020 by Ahmed Al-Madini. 3 books that deserve to be read. And yes, we're going to start right away after the break with the first book. So we are back, and the first book in the world of info, in the world of books today, is Ali Pasha Ibrahim, the pioneer of the Egyptian medicine. And yes, this is a really very interesting book that is talking about a real great persona, a man out of this world, a man who really can be defined as a Renaissance man. This man is Ali Pasha Ibrahim, who was born in 1880 to a humble origins of a family that his father was a farmer in Motobus in the Gharbiya Governorate, and his wife was from the same area as well. However, unfortunately, there has happened a divorce between this couple, and his mother decided to leave to Alexandria, where she has given birth to her son, Ali. This was the year 1880. For 2 years before the entrance of, or the invasion, or the British invasion of Egypt. A memory that Ali Pasha Ibrahim kept for his life by saying that he told his friends that he still remembered the sounds of the gunshots on Egyptian main port, Alexandria, on the day of September 1882. So let's talk about Ali Pasha Ibrahim. In the beginning, his mother noticed that he is a super intelligent young boy. She decided that she would give him all the possible education that she can afford. And she has worked in some humble jobs until she was able to support his education in the primary school. In the year 1892, he graduated. He got his first primary school certificate. And his father heard of how intelligent the boy is, so he decided that he's going to come to Alexandria and take the boy under his custody. However, the mother told him, you can leave now and go to our distant relatives in Cairo, and they will help you to go to school. And this is what happened. He went to secondary school, leaving Alexandria, living in a boarding school where he was supported by these distant relatives of his family. Soon he graduated from the secondary school with the highest possible scores, where he received a lot of credit in doing this. So after graduation, he decided that he's going to study medicine. And he went to the School of Medicine. The School of Medicine was built by Muhammad Ali in the year 1828. Originally, it was in Abu Za'bar region. And later on, Muhammad Ali transferred it under the auspice of its great founder, Claude Bey, the famous physician from France. He decided to transfer it to Al-Qasr Al-Aini place, where the Qasr Al-Aini used to be a palace of one of the rich Mamluks who lived at the time of Khush Qadam. The Sultan Khush Qadam worked with Qaitbay, where he was subjected sometimes of the tyranny of Qaitbay, but later on he was restored to his wealth. And then during the ruling of Qunsawa Said, he inflicted on him more taking up out of his money, so he left and died in Mecca. So in the remnants of this palace, Muhammad Ali founded the hospital, or Qasr Al-Aini Hospital, and this beautiful place overlooking the Nile. And after the arrival of the British and the British conquest of Egypt, Cromer, who was the High Commissioner, the British High Commissioner, decided that he's going to shut down the schools, the high schools that Muhammad Ali has founded. and these included the faculty or the School of Engineering and the School of Medicine and all these schools. He couldn't shut the medical school, but he decided to downgrade it, making that its degree for the British is not accredited as a physician, but he will be accredited the title of an assistant physician. However, the Egyptian government, in frustration, decided that it will keep the acceptance of the graduates of the School of Medicine Qasr al-Aini as real physicians and gave them the license. So Ali Pasha Ibrahim or Ali Ibrahim graduated in the year 1901 with the highest possible honors. Cromer decided by that time that the medical school will be only 4 years, not 6 years as it used to be. And this in order to decrease the status of the medical graduates of Egypt, so that Egypt will completely depend on the British physicians who came on and took their place of the Egyptian physicians in the important cities of Egypt. This decision was a very bad decision from Cromer's side, but we can find how Ali Pasha or Ali Ibrahim, who was a very persistent gentleman and a very intelligent one as well, decided that he's going to serve for the Ministry of Health. He went for the service of the Ministry of Health, where he was sent to Bani Suef. And during his tenure in Bani Suef, he proved his credibility as a doctor, taking proper care of hygiene, and at the same time disobeying the director, the British director, who wanted the food and the supplies of the hospital to pass through on their way to the stores, to pass through the operating theater, which he said that this is totally insane because this can cause infections. However, the guy was so very much angry with Ali Ibrahim that he decided that he's going to transfer him to Aswan. When he was in Aswan, he has done a great job in taking care of the patients of Aswan, and as well in combating the cholera epidemic that happened everywhere in Egypt for some time. Later on, he was transferred to Asyut. In Asyut, the medical profession was taken care of by the British physicians, who in the summer would disappear, go for vacations either in Alexandria or the UK to enjoy themselves, and leave Asyut without any physicians. However, Ali Ibrahim, who was then the director of the Asyut hospital, would remain and take care of the patients. The patients in the beginning were afraid that Ali is not that competent surgeon or physician. So they went there to him to be examined by him and diagnosed, and later on they would go to the British when they came back. When the British physicians came back, they said the same diagnosis like Ali Ibrahim. And so from 1904 till 1909, Ali Ibrahim became the most famous physician in Asyut. He decided that in spite of the amount of wealth that he has accumulated in this period, he decided that he's going to accept the offer of working as the assistant director of the forensic medicine department. And this because in this way he would be able to study all the diseases and even do some surgery on some of the cadavers that he might be allowed to do. And he started practicing very hard. And he was transferred later on to the School of Medicine, Qasr al-Aini, to be as an assistant lecturer over there, and started teaching the students. In 1912, there was an expedition sent by the Egyptian Red Crescent to the War of the Balkans, to Istanbul, where he was founded a hospital to treat the wounded of the Balkan War in 1912, and he has done a great job that he was given the degree of a third-class Bey. Later on, when he came back to Egypt, he returned to work in the School of Medicine, and it was very well known, having a great reputation, that he definitely has a very important skills. And these skills has brought the attention of Sultan himself, Hussein Kamel, who was suffering from illness and needed an emergency surgery that was done promptly by Ali Pasha Ibrahim. He was given the rank of a second-class Bey after that, and he was given the rank of becoming the physician or the surgeon of the court. And later on, after Sultan Hussein died, he also became the surgeon of the Sultan Fuad, and later on he became the King Fuad. He befriended the king, and during this period, he was very much concerned with the poverty and with the physicians. So he was an important founder, a founding member of the Egyptian Medical Society, and wanted to start also founding the Egyptian Medical Syndicate, which he was successful in building in the year 1940, and was given the rank of the chief physician of the Egyptian Medical Syndicate in 1940. And during his service as well, he has founded the poor, the impoverished children society that was responsible for taking care of the impoverished children all over Egypt, to try to help them to have a secure, good future. After that, we can also talk about his work with Sultan, and he was given the chance to become a surgeon in Cairo University, a lecturer and associate professor, and he was given the chance to work as well as vice dean of the faculty or the School of Medicine in 1928, and in 1929, with the death of the dean of the School of Medicine, he was promoted to become the dean of the Faculty of Medicine or the School of Medicine in the Qasr al-Aini, a job that he well kept from 1929 to 1940. During this period, he, as a trusted, confident surgeon and physician of the king was once telling him that he has a piece of land directly in front of the palace of Prince Muhammad Ali Tawfiq, and he wants to build on it a very big palace that will be bigger than the palace of Muhammad Ali Tawfiq, Prince Muhammad Ali Tawfiq, who was not that in good terms with King Fuad. However, the Ali Pasha Ibrahim, always considering the help of the poor, said to the king, "Why don't you, Majesty, build a palace in heaven instead of building it on earth?" He said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Why don't you give me this piece of land so we can build on it the extension of the Qasr al-Aini school, making it a very big hospital that will help the impoverished Egyptians and will be a teaching base for the Egyptian physicians, and to make them reach the highest possible standard." And so he has drawn the plans, and King Fuad accepted that he's going to donate the ground. Now, as for the funding, at that time, the prime minister was Ismail Pasha Sidi, and a man who was known by being a very miser and taking care of every penny that is spent on the government. So he said to him in the beginning, "I will not give you a penny. We don't have good funds for funding this huge project." But later on, Ismail Sadi developed some illness, and it was necessary to be transferred as an emergency patient to Ali Pasha Ibrahim, who took good care of him and did the surgery, and it was a complete success. So Ismail Pasha Sadi went to him and said, "Why don't you take from me whatever the fees that you want?" He said, "Okay, if you insist on paying, my fees are £1 million. So the guy said to him, the Pasha, the prime minister, said, "What?" He said, "Yes, I will not take this 1 million to me. I want you to allocate 1 million Egyptian pounds to building the Qasr al-Aini, the new Qasr al-Aini medical hospital." And so Ismail Sadi kept his word, and he supplied the funds from the government, so it was able to build the hospital within a very short period, and it was inaugurated in 1937, and it was the base for the touch base and the educational institute for teaching medicine all over Egypt. In 1940, he was appointed as a minister of health. During this short tenure, which was for 1 year almost, he became very much involved in organizing the hospitals of the Ministry of Health, building hospitals and organizing the Egyptian pharmacopoeia, and at the same time in the medical, making a huge project of medical insurance, especially for the workers and laborers of Egypt, and of course sending a lot of giving a lot of scholarships to the ministers, to the physicians of the ministry. The same thing that he did when he was dean of the Faculty of Medicine. After being a minister in 1941, he left the ministry, and the king appointed him as the director of Cairo University. At that time, it was called the Fuad al-Awwal, Fuad the First University. And from the year 1941 till 1946, the year of his death, he became the director general of the university, or the Egyptian university, and which later on was called Cairo University. During these times, he took care of establishing the Faculty of Medicine and giving all the possible amount, using all his connections to supply the money to help the school to excel. And at the same time, he was the founding president of the Alexandria University, which was called King Farouk University, and the medical school over there, and the university city as well for the students. And of course, he helped in building the school from scratch and building its own hospital, a task that helps to promoting the medical education all over Egypt, and therefore giving the chance for a lot of physicians to graduate from the schools of medicine over there to help in taking care of the health of the Egyptians. Ali Pasha Ibrahim has a great role in the Egyptian medicine, and also he has another important role, that he was a big collector of Islamic artifacts. He had a very huge collection of original Oriental carpets and pottery, Islamic pottery, which he later on donated all this group of priceless artifacts to the Egyptian Islamic Museum. And this was a great, important donation that helped the museum to carry one of the most and the largest and complete collection of beautiful Islamic artifacts that belongs to as early as the 12th century collection. Also, his daughter, Layla Ali Ibrahim, became a professor of Islamic archaeology in the American University in Cairo. He has two other sons, Hassan and Ali. Hassan Ibrahim followed the footsteps of his dad, became a very eminent surgeon who has written huge research and has operations that are called under his name up till now. And Ali, who was a professor of gynecology and obstetrics and a great well-known gentleman in this important field. Hassan Ibrahim himself, as a founder of this branch of this respected branch in surgery, was a chief surgeon in Cairo University, and I have the honor that I know that he's helped my father in his early years in medical school. And when my father joined the army and later on came back to Cairo University to have his diploma, he received all the possible care and proper education from Hassan Ibrahim, the son of Ali Pasha Ibrahim, a real gentleman who had a son who is exactly in the same character like his father. So when we talk of Ali Ibrahim, we will also remember his role in the Egyptian radio service, where he was an important director of the programs of Radio Egypt in the early 1934 after its founding, trying to establish ethical rules for broadcasting, and definitely was a great founder of the Egyptian radio. A man with such a talent in Arabic language was also a member of the Supreme Council of the Arabic language, and this is called Majma' al-Lugha al-Arabiyya. And he was responsible for translating a lot and writing a proper description of scientific terms in Arabic that helps in translation and helps the student if they want to study in medicine in Arabic. So when we talk about Ali Ibrahim, we will talk about a distinguished man, a man who helped Egypt to have a high status in medicine, a man who deserved all the possible virtue and honors that he received, and he was a great founder of the Egyptian Medical Syndicate, and the different schools of medicine deserve always to be remembered by his greatness. So, a beautiful book about Ali Pasha Ibrahim, the founder of the modern Egyptian medicine. So, stay tuned to us, and we're coming right after the break. So, you're still listening to the World of Info, and we are coming from Studio 3. My name is Dr. Amr MABROuk. Dua Muhammad is still at the control, and today is the World of Books. And the second book of today is a very interesting book, and it is called The Art of Laziness. Well, yes, laziness is an art. People who are lazy are doing everything so that they don't do anything. And this book is written by or published by the Library Mindset Publishers. And I believe that it is a short, very up to the point book that deals with laziness and trying to give us a recipe or a prescription how to deal with laziness and how to combat it. This interesting book, I think it is, the editor has asked the AI to answer some questions. And so the book is written in a very highly organized matter, explaining to us how can we combat laziness. And it starts with a very interesting motto, which says that life is short. The expected time of living for a normal human being, if he doesn't pass away from illness or from an accident, is usually 72 years of age. That's the average age of human beings in the world. It can be higher in developed nations and lower in developing nations. And these 72 years are equivalent to 3,700 weeks. So if you are 30 years old, most probably you have already spent 1,500 of these weeks. So what you have left is another maybe 1,700 weeks at the maximum. So we don't have time. And time is running. So start living now. This can be possibly attracting your attention, and this will be definitely the way. So do not chase your dream, but attract them and try to follow them. And as Churchill said, the price of greatness is responsibility. And definitely nobody cares what you should do or not do. Everybody who is involved in himself and taking care of himself. You should always take care of yourself. And the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. So don't make mistakes twice. Stick to your business, and nobody will ever be great help of you except yourself. And he's giving us the important sign, which is the types of people. The people who never start a thing, and these are the maximum laziness people. The people who start and stop because they get fed up or they feel that the way or the pathway is long. And the third group of people is those who work hard. We always tend to live and stay in the comfort zone. And comfort zone is the real enemy. So don't start to live in the comfort zone. You have to take risk. You have to set clear goals and write them and mark them and go after them. Taking risks is definitely more important than giving away yourself and saying, I will stay in this comfort zone. So the self-discipline is a painful decision, but definitely it's much less pain or lesser pain than when you have been disciplined by other people who or accuse you of not doing your job. So regrets are definitely more painful. So the important thing is not to postpone, and don't let failure stop you, because this shall pass. He tells us the story of the king who asked his, sort of an idea or a story that just didn't happen, but it gives you a good example. He says that the king once asked his subordinates and wise people to give him wisdom in a nutshell. So they disappeared for a week or two, and then they came with a piece of paper and said, here is the wisdom, and keep it with you, and don't open it except in times of trouble. So he kept it inside his ring, And as he was living, he found out that there is an invasion of his kingdom, and his army was defeated, and he later on had to escape, and the enemies were flying right next behind him. So as he was running with his horse, he found himself approaching a high mountain, and after that there will be a fall from this high mountain. So he decided to stop. And as the enemy was approaching, he decided that this is the best time to open all this message that was written by the wise people. He took up the page and looked at the paper, and in it was written, "This shall pass." And this is real wisdom, because suddenly he found out that the people who were chasing him got desperate to reach him, and they left. And so they retreated. So he went up again, organized his army, and he was able to successfully retrieve his kingdom. And as he went inside his kingdom, he received all the possible care and hero's welcome from his subordinates and his subjects. And he looked at his ring, took out the piece of paper, written in it, "This shall pass." So work is definitely happiness, and don't run away from hard things, as you always say. So the problem always is that people would like to be perfectionists because they think that they have to do it the best way. And if you are a perfectionist, then most probably you'll be failing to do the original job. But this does not mean that you would be a mediocre. What is the definition of mediocre? Mediocre are the average people, the people who decide to stay in comfort zone, who wants to do the job. They will do half the job because they say the half of the job is quite enough. We don't need to do more. And they think that if they go on giving themselves better time and relaxing more time, and they hate people to overdo them or over jet and overworking more of them. So you have to take care of the mediocres that are surrounding you. Don't follow them, because life of greatness is harder than the life of mediocrity. So there is another myth that some people fall in it, which is the myth of multitasking. You have to focus on one thing at a time and do it. And he gives us the example of multitasking when the engineering team responsible for building the Challenger or the Discovery, the Challenger shuttle failed because they had a lot of tasks to fulfill. So one mistake led to the falling of and the explosion of this great spaceship. So prepare yourself and give yourself priorities, and always delegate jobs to your subordinates and your colleague. Don't try to do everything yourself, because this is a recipe for failure. So how to do it? Then develop a daily routine. For example, Tolstoy, one of the greatest writers of all time, he organized his life methodically. He would wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, start a walk for 1 hour, then sit and work and write, and later on have a lunch, and then have a nap, and then work again, and then sleep. He would not sleep after 10, always sleeping after 10 p.m. to wake up highly energetic. So if you have a routine, this will be important. Sitting alone and doing a lot of meditation can definitely help you to reach or fulfill your dreams. And you have to learn to say no, and you don't have to work 24/7. Be productive, but not busy. Don't wait to do your job, so you have to be impatient with doing your job, but you have to be patient for waiting the results. And always surround yourself with the right people, not the procrastinators, and do not take advice from anyone. If they don't have what you want, they don't listen, then don't listen to what they say. And the most important thing is not to worry, because as Mark Twain said, that I am an old man and I have known many troubles, but most of these troubles never happened. So worrying does only increase your stress, increase your level of cortisol, and things mostly you are worried about really never happened. So if we can control it, then we have to do it and correct. If we cannot control it, then we have to let go, because that time we don't have to worry. So the important thing also as well is to don't do the hard thing first. So this will lead you to find your way to a greatness and to accomplish. The most important thing is to learn. And as there were example in the CNN 2 days ago, there was written, and one of the program was saying that the American students in the school, in high school, are losing a lot of their learning skills because they are not reading anymore. And this is important. Reading is an important thing to lead. In order to learn something faster, you have to give it itself a lot of time. You have to read to lead. And you have to accept that you have to read faster. Because there is a law called Parkinson law, which says that work will expand to fill the time. So you say, if I'm going to, this book is a good book, I will finish it in 1 week. Then you will find yourself finishing it in 1 week. But you better not to finish it in 1 week. You have to give yourself lesser time so that you can be able to accomplish things in lesser time and sharpen your skills. So do this before you sleep. When you go to sleep, you say, what I have done today, what I want to do, and what are the tiny habits that I have to do. And then you have to move on for a next day and a plan to do. So this is most important thing. Don't yourself with a lot of work, and anything that can be made in less than 5 minutes should be done now. And don't miss anything for 2 days straight. If you want to say that you're going to run, then daily, if you miss it 1 day, you don't have to skip the second day. Always wait and do your right thing to do. So, in spite of the fact that this book looks like to be an AI product, but definitely it's nice. I believe that all the wisdom that has been carried is taking care of one important thing, is that you have to give yourself time. You have to work hard to understand and to fulfill your dreams. Don't stay in the comfort zone. Working hard and starting, as they say in running, or joggers, they say, running a bad mile, let's say running slowly, is much better than no mile. So, an interesting book about the art of laziness and how to fulfill your dreams and get out of the comfort zone. So, after the break, we'll go to the last book of today. Still listening to the World of Info, and this is the World of Books. We are coming from Studio 3. My name is Dr. Amr MABROUK, and Muhammad is at the control. And by this, we come to the last book of today, and it's called Paris Forever, The Diary of the Left Bank, by Dr. Ahmed Al-Madini. Well, Ahmed Madini is a very talented writer. He's a scholar, he's a professor. He got his PhD from the Sorbonne, the PhD or Doctor d'État, and he has been living in Paris since 45 years, since 1980, when he traveled to Paris for study and then ended up by living there and teaching there as well in the Sorbonne. He, in this book, is telling us that he decided to write a diary, and he said it's never too late. And this is really a bit misleading, because actually this is not a diary. This is thoughts and ideas that is kept on dates that he is writing on. And he's talking about the years 2019 to the 2020, where he has obliged himself to write a diary. Whatever he's writing, he is not writing what exactly he's doing on that day. He might just pass through 2 or 3 lines telling us about his walks on the Seine, or his life, or his coffee shops that he's visiting, or the friends that he's meeting. But actually, these are thoughts. Flow of thoughts and ideas that takes us through the life and times of Ahmed Al-Madini in Paris. It goes sometimes to the past, the extreme past, his trip to Algiers, where he worked as an Arabic teacher in Algiers, and his decision to go back from Algiers to Morocco via the train, and his being stranded on the borders between Morocco and Algiers, not because of war, but because of a cholera epidemic that started, and he was forced to stay for 10 days after having the vaccination, and to stay 10 days in between Algiers and Morocco. And then he tells us that he loves reading books and that he reads books keeping him alive. And he likes novels, and he goes to the bookshops, which he describes vividly, the different bookshops in Paris that really attracts his attention. And it tells us about the visits that he receives from some of his friends who come always to Paris with great hopes that they will go to and have the time to go around, telling us of how some of his friends are really very anxious to visit bookshops or to go with him and strolling in different parts of Paris or going to coffee shops with him. And this, he tells us also about how he used to write books about his journeys and travels in different places of the world, whether this was to China or to Egypt sometimes, or to Morocco itself between Rabat and Casablanca. And of course, he tells us about the best books that he read and the bestsellers. And of course, saying that I, as a writer, has all the rights. And definitely, these books that he's writing, suddenly, or this diary he's writing, goes further to the year 2020, when suddenly the people have known about the COVID and about the epidemic and how that they have to stay in quarantine and in isolation. He's describing his days, his endless days, living at his home, not able to visit the coffee shops that he loves to visit, not able to go the strolls that he does usually on the Seine, and how that he has really suffered from that. He tells us about the special relation that he has with the character of Jacques Chirac, how when Jacques Chirac died, he was so much sad because this man was a great man and great loved man, a man who really loved life, how he stood in an endless line to pay his tribute to the body of Jacques Chirac as it lies in state in Les Invalides, how he has seen this and how he definitely enjoyed his life, and enjoying his life in Paris is a message that the writer is trying to convey. Sometimes he reads a lot of books because he wants to break the what they call the writer's silence and the writer's inability to read and proceed in their lives. The book goes and indulges into the emotions, into the lives, into the books that he read and tries to tell us about them, and his vivid imagination about life. And the book ends with a piece of hope. Hope that after the COVID has left, that things will return again to normal. So with such a book full of emotions, we end our 3 books of today, and definitely a book to be admired. Paris Forever, The Diary of the Left.